So I'm doing my 2015 or 2014, sorry, beauty favorites, but I'm just doing my facial stuff. I'm not doing the eyes and the lips yet because I think this video would be a little bit too long for that. So I'm going to get started. So there's two primers. I'm going to kind of work my way up on what I do with my face. Well, kind of. We'll see how this works out. Okay, so the first primer I want to talk about is the Hourglass. This one, actually, it's kind of running low. These are the sample sizes. I actually used to use the L'Oreal Miracle Blur, and this one I really liked. What I liked is that it kind of filled in my pores and it kept me matte for like all day. And I probably liked this right up until July, August, sometime in there. And then Vanessa talked about this and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try that. I have that and it never seemed to work before. It just didn't give me the type of coverage and the pores. Like I like to blend in my pores just in this area. And then I tried it again and it seemed to work. So I don't know what was different, but these were the two that I used. So I would wash my face, use my regular moisturizer, which I do plan on doing skincare, but it keeps changing. That's like, I'm going to be totally honest with you. Don't mind that mark, by the way. I was going to say, because I had a little breakout right here, but this is actually cupping. I did cupping to myself, and that's a cupping. It's a big. So yeah, I had some acne breakouts like on and off, so my skincare kept changing. So that's why I haven't done a skincare one yet. But starting with primers, these two were just awesome. This is a drugstore find, and I find it great. Like drugstore, all my other ones that I have, like all my other primers were all high end, and I did pay a lot of money for them, but it was not worth it in my opinion. Other than this one, which I still have samples of, thank God. So I'm going to keep using those because I think the regular price of these is around $75. So those two, and then I'm going to go on to foundations. I went totally out of the box with foundations this year. And this year I went to NARS Sheer Glow. And the color I am in is Cadiz or Cadiz, something like that. I'm actually trying the other, oh no, sorry, that's Makeup Forever. I'll get onto that one. What I really like about this one is color-wise. The color for me, it blended perfectly. It was a dream. And what I really liked as well is normally, like I said, I like the matte, but this year I really liked a little bit of the luminosity, but I still was able to cover it with a powder and it still looked fabulous. Like my face, I felt like I looked so healthy and vibrant. This was seriously just a dream. And even for oily skin, because I do have oily skin, but I'll show you actually, this is another favorite. What I would do is about 4 hours or so into the day, that's when I would start seeing, like right in here, it would start getting a little bit dewy, oily, we'll call it. I started using these Clean and Clear. I have used everything from Proactive, the MAC ones. Those are great too, but this one I found to be great for a drugstore, and you also get 50 sheets in here. And it's lasted me forever. I just, basically after about 4 hours, what I would do is I would just put a blue sheet and I would just blot, 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 and then I would either de-shine or else I wouldn't even need to like add more makeup necessarily, but I still looked vibrant. My skin still looked vibrant and it didn't look oily, which I guess I really liked. So that again would be another favorite. The other foundation is the Makeup Forever HD High Definition. This one was in N173. And I was so tempted to wear either this or actually I was more drawn to wear the NARS one for my wedding, but I didn't. I'll tell you why later, but this one is anyway, another absolute favorite. It gives similar finish to the first one, to the NARS, but what I really like about it is it almost gives my skin, it gives, again, the same kind of look, like a little bit of a glow, a little bit more lively, and I was really loving that this year. If I did want a matte look, I'd always go back to my MAC Studio Fix Fluid, but I didn't put that into favorites this year just because I don't think I used it enough to keep it as a favorites. That's still one I trust, but I won't go back to it, or I haven't gone back to it all the time, if that makes sense. Um, so the Makeup Forever one though, this is one I have been absolutely loving. When I want to look really pretty, like when I want to feel beautiful, I wear one of these two. And I'm just going to set that down. And then the next one I really liked, just for everyday wear foundation, would be my Naked Skin Weightless Foundation. This was all, what I really liked about these, they all kind of have similar finishes. It's really light, but you can still build it. So if I wanted just a little bit of coverage, these foundations were just amazing for it. And again, you can just, the more you add, the more you can build and have flawless face. And my color again in this is 8, but I think I might even be a 9 because it's still, sometimes the only thing I've been finding the more I've been using this is my skin actually looks a little bit gray sometimes. So I've tried using different powders, but I still like the finish of it. So it just depends on maybe the color of my skin. It has nothing to do with the foundation. But it's still, obviously, I like it. They're still favorites, so it's still in here. And I forgot, one of the things I forgot to put in here was a drugstore favorite, which I just had. You know, maybe I'll add it in my next video that I'm going to do because I don't see any that I was absolutely loving at this moment. There is one that I've talked about before, it's in the tube, the Whipped Revlon. I really like that one. And this one, the L'Oreal True Match, I think would be another favorite if I were to try out a drugstore, then it would be this. They would be those two. And the Whipped one, I actually ran out of it, so I have to get more of it. So that also says something. And I'm going to go on to concealers. And this was an interesting year for me for concealers because I have transformed those like crazy. The first thing was the Giorgio Armani Studio Corrector. This has been amazing. If you guys remember before, I used to love my Eve Pearl, which I still love my Eve Pearl. It's a really easy, it's like a treatment and all that stuff in one, but that was what I used before. Now what I've been using with the Giorgio Armani, what I find with it is if I'm in a hurry in the morning and I have a few errands to run, what I would do is add it on my skin, add it underneath my eyes, and it would just melt into my skin. So it looks like I'm not wearing anything. That's the cool thing about this is you don't necessarily have to add foundation over. I do because I like to have like a little bit of a brightening effect, but if I want a natural look, you could just use a tiny bit of this, which I love because you can get away with looking like, oh, like it looks like damn girl, like you look good natural, and really you're wearing concealer on that, but that's what I love about it. It's just a natural looking concealer, and you just use the tiniest amount. This lasted me probably a year and some, and it's finally at the bottom. And again, my number is number 2 in case I didn't say that before, and I'm definitely going to be picking up more of this. I love this stuff. Okay, and then for concealer, this is going to go 2 ways. So the Pro Longwear Concealer with MAC. This is NC45, which is my Pro Longwear, which is my normal Studio Fix shade with MAC, but it actually looks a little bit darker on me, but this is super pigmented. Okay, what I do is I actually have this one and then I have the one lighter. I don't have it in front of me, but what I do is I take the MAC sample cups and then I take one of these and then I take one of the other and I just mix it. So and this lasts me forever. I'm not kidding you. This is still like look at that. That's probably about 3 years old and it's only down to about right there. Okay, but what I do with it is because it squirts out, the only thing with this one is it squirts out a lot. So I've mixed the dark and the light, and I have 2 of these. One I use for under eyes, so I use a little bit more of the lighter shade, and still some of this though because I like the redness that this gives. Then what I do is I make another separate one for foundation. And the only thing with this, okay, if you have like the new Smashbox Prep and Prime, if you use something like that underneath this, if you're going to use it for a foundation, that is going to just stop instantly. Like it's going to just dry and it's going to dry wherever it is. But if you're using something a little bit moisturizing for a foundation and you need your makeup to last all day, this is amazing. This is actually what I used for my wedding. I mixed, again, some colors to have like highlight, and then I mixed colors to make it for an all over foundation. You can cry on this. Like one of the makeup artists, Mac Pro makeup artist, he does lots of red carpet makeup for like Reese Witherspoon, all those girls on the red carpet, and to make their makeup last, and he also suggested this for brides, to make their makeup, like I cried and cried and cried, and this does not move. That's why I love this stuff. So I still have it if I need my makeup to last all day. I know I'm going to be at a conference, I'm going to be somewhere. I use that stuff as a highlighter or concealer. That's one thing I love about that. But like I said, you need to watch the primer you're going to use it. If you use something like one of the MAC Prep and Prime primers, put the primer on and then use that right away after. Just do like work in sections. Then it's going to last perfect. Like it's going to be dewy enough so that it lasts when it sets. But if you're using something super dry like the new Smashbox primer, it's gonna be just stuck. So you got to really use a more moisturizing primer when you use that stuff. I hope that makes sense. That was like the world's longest ramble. But when I need my makeup to last, I definitely always go back to those because pigmentation is crazy, and you can cry and it's gonna last all day. Okay, the next ones for drugstore is the NYX concealer. Tara Lynn had talked about this. Tara Lynn and Brianna actually were in a few group chats, and they had talked about these. And I have to mix mine. I use number 6 and 7, and they last. The brightening effects, I find this to just be amazing. Like you can use it if you want to do contouring, if you want it. I love this. These are just amazing. I usually have one of these in my bag. And okay, well, I should say two. Usually have two of these. I have this in my bag, or there's one other product which you guys are going to see that I always have in my bag. This one, the only thing with these is they need to be set. I find sometimes is, yeah, that would be like my only downfall with this one. Whereas Clé de Peau is another favorite. Some people don't like this, but what I really love about this is it's like a powder. You don't have to set it. It gives you so much pigment, so much color, and you don't have to set it. Like, I love that. I'm going to show you just a little bit right here. What I like about this is like once you rub this in, you're done. So before I got into this, I was using these in my bag. And like if I was going to the gym and then after I was going to the gym but I had to like run in and do an errand somewhere, I could throw this on and I would just, everything was covered basically. These two colors, what I also liked about this is that this number 7 almost matched my skin color, so I could get away with, like, if I had a pimple, I would just cover it up and run in wherever I had to run in. So that was another cool thing about that. The drugstore one, but this one, like I said, like, that's it. You need the tiniest amount, and it sets, and you're done. That's what I love about the Clé de Peau. It is kind of drying, but it also has its perks. Like I said, you don't need to set it. It's just done. The minute you're done with it, it's just done. So this one I really liked, and I'm in the color Honey for this one. And my other love, which is probably no surprise in the YouTube world, is the NARS Radiant Cream Concealer. But I do find the NYX to be a dupe sort of for it. And again, I didn't have like the best color. If I'm going to use a color by itself with nothing else, I would use the Biscuit, which is a little bit darker. But I wanted to brighten it up a bit, like brighten up my under eye. Sorry, I just noticed it wasn't blending, and there's a mirror here. Then I added the medium to it, and I just mixed the two. When I want to look like the Kim Kardashian style look, like super bright, if I want to do the whole contouring thing, this is all I need. This is all I need. I love this. I love this. I love these. Yeah, this would be it for my concealer. It was just, this year was a big concealer year. Like, I tried so many different concealers, but those ones are the ones I absolutely loved. And I always set my concealer with the Ben Nye powder. However, there is a change to that because I got the new Kat Von D palette, and again, I saw Vanessa's video on her shades and or how she did the eye, and that's another thing I'll get onto again. But I love it. Like I have the Anastasia palette, but it doesn't work for my under eye. It's too yellow and it's also like almost too bright. But those colors, like mixing them together, it's actually working. That's what's under here. But usually, back to my favorites video, it's usually this. This is what I usually use. I've had this for years and years, and as you can see, I'm only like halfway through it. I do have a few more bottles that I bought, but I'm just in case I have loads of it because I love that. If there's a no fail kind of thing, if I need a no fail look, no matter what, that's what I've always turned to. I've tried to do what some other people do with using like the Makeup Forever under eye setting stuff. It doesn't, that stuff, it hasn't worked for me yet. I'm going to try the Laura Mercier one, the brightening one. I'm going to see how that works. I'm going to pick that up on Friday when I meet my friends. And okay, this is another really, I don't know why I get so excited talking about makeup, but I do. I'm like, oh my God. Because, okay, so once I'm done setting my face, what I do is I then go to my Makeup Forever Pro Finish powder, and this is in the number 173. So it is kind of yellow, it's kind of bright, but here's the cool thing that I've discovered. I was going to return it, but what I started doing was I take a little bit, and then what I do is I add it right here where I would brighten my face normally. That's where I use this, all in these areas, okay? And I love the finish this gives. Love the finish this gives. Okay, so I use the Makeup Forever. Again, love this, love this. Can't say enough great things. Discovered this year. Used it for my wedding. Love this. Then what I do, though, is I actually use the Fit Me that Lisa talked about this a while ago, and I don't actually think she even really still likes it anymore, but what I really like for is my number is in Toffee Caramel. I don't know about having it all over my face. Like I haven't necessarily used it that way. Actually, I have used it that way, and I can't even say whether, I gotta be honest, I can't even say whether I really like it as much because I've been using these two together. Then what I do is I take this just a tiny bit and then I go around the outside and I bring it down. And I do that again around the nose, around this side. And I love these two. I love these two together. They're just, I can't even describe, like seriously, that changed my look. If you don't want to do all the contouring and all that, but you still want, because one thing I find, I don't know if you have darker skin, what I do find is if you use just this all over, my face looks flat. And yes, I can add other stuff, but my face looks really flat and it's hard for me to liven it up. I have to, so I find this adds a little bit more dimension to my face. So these two I've been loving. Usually I used to use the Studio Fix. I've loved the Chanel, but now it's these two, and I will just keep going back for them until maybe I find something else that does all in one. But these two I'm really loving. Okay. And again, oh, this brush. I picked up more of these because I love this brush. Some people maybe don't like it because it isn't maybe the softest, but I still find it works great. Like I do. I love this brush. Love, love, love this brush. It's soft enough for my face. I like it. I love this. Love this. Real Techniques. I don't know. Oh, powder brush is all it's called. And yeah, I love it. I do have a whole bunch of new brushes that I'm going to try, but those are IT Cosmetics. Oh, and I forgot to mention for under eye concealer, what I use is I use my MAC 227, and I love it because of how big it is. It goes like within one swoop like this, and I'm done highlighting. One scoop, or that's not one scoop, is it? 2 scoops, and it's done. Love this brush. Oh, the Sigma does have a brush like that, but I did buy it, and I got it in a set, but I don't know if I'm loving that one yet, just because I think the MAC one's a little bit firm, a little bit more dense, so it packs product on a little bit nicer for under eye when I'm using the Ben Nye. And the other item, I'm sorry. I only actually have a few things. Okay, I'm going to go on to blushes. Makeup Forever 310 HD. This has been, oh, I love it. What I do is I add a little bit of this to the, and I use, actually, I think I even have the brush I use. In that same kit that I got the Makeup Forever, I mean, not for Makeup Forever, so the Sigma, I use the Dual Fiber F15 brush, and I just add a tiny bit of it. Oh, it's a cream brush nut. You don't need to dust it. And what I do is I just add a little bit to my apples, and then I add a brush over top of it, or blush over top of it. But if I just want my blush to look as natural as possible, I stick with this cream blush. But what I find is it makes my blush last all day. There's no, like, usually for some reason later on in the day, I get oily hair, but my makeup seems to wear off on the sides usually. And this is the blush, like it just makes it last all day. I love it. I love it, and I love this set together. That's the one I use. And sorry guys, I dropped something here, so I can't even say what it is. Oh, one thing I want to say about what I use to set my concealer, I use this. I either use my my Real Techniques blush or the Sigma. This one is the PB82, but as you can see, they both have similar heads, and I like it because it gets right under there. I do have the pointy ones and stuff like that. Those haven't been the ones I've been drawn to. I usually go to these two. Again, Real Techniques and the Sigma. And that's what I use to put it on. And then I use a Beauty Blender just to like any extra makeup. And I actually use my Beauty Blender dry. I don't mind that it soaks up all the product. That's what I want it to do. Any of the extra makeup, what I've been doing is actually, I just want it to take any extra makeup. So I just roll it all over my face. If I caked on concealer in a certain area, then I go around it and it just takes off any extra. That's what I've been using that for. I seriously dropped something and I can't figure out what it is. It's bothering me. Because I'm like, you guys have to see it. Whatever that favorite was. Another thing I wanted to show you was this brush. If I'm using a bronzer, I use this, which I think the color's almost wore off. I think it's the 180 or 139. I use this, and I usually use something like a Too Faced bronzer. I use the Too Faced. It's hard for me to find a bronzer that's dark enough for my skin tone, so what I usually do is, I'm trying to find the other, or what I use is the Fit Me, again, like kind of around the darker areas, I guess. But the Chocolate Soleil I have been finding is dark enough. So this is one that all year I reach for, Chocolate Soleil. And again, this brush by MAC. I do have, again, the Sigma one. I don't know if I love it as much. These are the MAC brushes that I do quite like. And then for some more blushes, what I really liked this year was the Pale Pink blush here. If I'm going to do a baby pink look, I usually go for the Pale Pink. And it's this one right there. And if I want a more natural look, I use the Desert Rose and the Pink Rose. And I just kind of blend those two together, and it kind of gives me, actually it looks similar to what I have on right now. It gives me something similar to that. And that's just the Bobbi Brown. I love them because they last all day. I love them. And then, this is like, hallelujah, favorite blush of probably 2014 altogether has got to be Elmeria. This is just amazing. It's very similar actually to the HD together. Like, this and then this over top of it is just, oh, I can't say enough great things about this. I'm going to try it on so you guys can see. This has been my favorite blush brush. It is the F10 powder blush, Sigma. Again, all the same set. Look at that. Look at this though. Like, it's pink, but rose, but pink. Oh my god, I will go overboard on this, and I don't even care. I just love it so much. Oh, I love it. I love it. Almeria, if you can still get your hands on it, girls, go and get it. I love it. It just leaves the most amazing, amazing, amazing. I was obsessed. If you knew me before, I was obsessed with baby pink blush, which I'm going to go drugstore. If you're looking for a drugstore one, I really like this peach, this NYX peach. But the Almeria, oh, I just love it. I love it. You know what? Let's get really freaky. Let's add this so you guys can see the baby pink on top of it. In my world, you can never have enough blush. It's just, when my blush is done, I just feel like, hallelujah. I literally feel like that. NYX, great, great, great one. And, oh, I wanted to show this concealer. This is the Studio Fix concealer. If you have any acne, anything, this is still the concealer I go to for a full coverage. I literally, actually, it's probably not the most sanitary, but it's just me using this, so I stick my finger in it, get a little bit, put it over a spot, work my way around. If I have to, I will use a brush and get fancy, but realistically, I don't. I'm just gonna be real, I don't. And I've been really trying, like, not trying, but I've been discovering that simplicity is really what I like. Like, the simpler, the better. Even this Fit Me, I forgot to mention, what I also love this for is crease color. I actually have this in my crease color today. This is this look, like, I use this. The simpler, the better. I've gotten into, like, oh my god, you gotta get this, I need this palette, and I don't need the palette. Realistically, I don't need it for that one color. I can make do with this other stuff. But, another brand, I just keep going on them. Okay, the other thing that this multi-purpose, again, is the highlighter in Bronze Glow by Bobbi Brown. I actually use this as a highlighter, inner corner light. I use it on top of my eyelids. I use it everywhere. Everywhere. I love this. This was also a year of concealing and highlighting. I love the highlighter. I really found this year, especially for darker skin tone, highlighting is the way to bring some life to your face, because when you're so dark, there's not a lot of life to it. It may look like it just looks flat. It just seriously just looks flat. But if you add dimension with your highlighting, that's where it's at. And this was my favorite. Bronze Glow Bobbi Brown. That one. And then for a natural, beautiful one, I use the Hourglass Luminous Light. This, which looks really, but I like it because it's kind of like Reserve Your Cabana. That it gives that same really subtle glow, but a little bit more of a glow, but still subtle. But if you get a chance, let's watch this. Again, inner corner light, I use it for that. This is when I want a more natural look, like daytime, I'll use that. And when I want to be wild and throw a little extra, I throw on the Bobbi Brown. This one I know is limited again, but I love it, especially if you're wearing pink blush. This is Stereo Rose. I'm actually using this one today. I don't even think you can tell because it's kind of dark, but Stereo Rose. If you're light enough skin tone too, this might even be just good by itself. It might be a little bit frosty though. This is the finish of it. See? Oh, look at that. I just love it. So this, again, another favorite. Apparently I had Whisper of Guilt. I don't even know I had that there because I do love that one, but that wasn't necessarily a favorite. Okay, the other one, which I'm just going to share with you, I don't know if Brows is part of. I'm going to share it with you. This is what I use for my brows, whatever color that was. Oh crap, that's actually really is a color I need to show you. Okay, that was Mystery by MAC for darker color, for while I've had darker hair. Don't mind me, guys. I'm going to find it. Just one second. Okay, sorry about that. This is Mystery. And this same old beat up MAC palette I've had since 2007, and I still love it. Remember how I said about simplicity? I keep going back to these natural palettes. Like, I have all those other ones, and finally I'm bringing myself back. Like, I'm not buying any more stupid stuff because you just need it because it looks great on that one person. It looks great on her because she's like 10 shades lighter than you, and when it looks on you, you look like Jersey Shore, like fluorescent orange. I gotta accept that I'm a little bit darker skin. And where did that rant come from? Anyway, back to this. Eyebrows. I always go to Mystery or Cork. And this, again, I can actually do an entire eye look out of this, and it's my same old Orb and Ho are my all-time favorite palette. I've had it for years, and I do my eyebrows with it. Even if I want a little bit more brighting underneath my eye, I will actually add Orb and just a bigger powder brush and brighten it that way. Love this. Love this. And I think that's it. Oh, I guess I should show you this. I love the Anastasia clear brow gel for setting my eye. I'm just going to show you a difference. But I like the travel size. I do not like the big one. Like, I'll show you why. Look at the size of this one. And look at the size of this one. I love the baby one. I have the big one because if I need it, but I prefer the small one. Just brush wise and for my lashes, I just feel the big one is actually like bigger than my eyelashes. So I don't usually really use that one. And my brow I like either brunette or dark brown, just because my hair is a little bit darker right now. And I only use this to line like a little bit underneath where my eyebrows are sparse, basically. And I just mix those two. And I, again, love this. Love these eye looks because it's the most simple. I'm accepting it that I've grown or I've not grown and I'm a bad makeup artist. And that I love natural. I just know that that's what works for me. I feel prettiest when I'm just enhancing natural. When I add like all this color in that, like I buy these things and I just don't use it. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not. Only ones that really like work for me, ones that I love, that's what I'm getting. And I'm going to work with what I got. I got so many cool stuff. Okay, the last thing I do is I set my makeup with Model in a Bottle. Love this stuff. It makes you last all day. It is a little bit perfumey, but that works for me. And I think that's it. That is all my stuff. I will get back to you guys on the rest of my makeup. For eyes and lips and all that stuff. If you have any other requests, let me know and come check me out on Instagram. I'm usually on there. Instagram's like my drug of choice, other than YouTube videos, but my drug of choice is Instagram pictures creeping. I just love looking at beautiful women and all their awesomeness. So, see you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.